Oh, it's not. Oh my God. He hit the old 1-2 left hook on him.
You impressed by in that sense?
I think that he made some good adjustments technically, where he was putting him on the back foot a lot more than he was in the first fight. In this fight, in the rematch, Pereira's just constantly keeping him guessing, walking him backwards, making him feel threatened, and Ankalaev just couldn't even get anything off. So Pereira's back.
I always ask it, but does he move to heavyweight now, or does he fight Yuri, or what are your thoughts?
Tom Aspinall has finally responded to Alex Pereira's stunning victory over Magomed Ankalaev, and his remarks are sparking plenty of buzz. After Pereira's impressive finish at UFC 320, Aspinall showed great respect for the Brazilian champ, admitting he didn't expect such a result.
Fight of the year it is that we need to see. Alex Pereira's got to move up if Tom Aspinall defeats Cyril Gane at UFC 321. By KO in the first round as well, just to add some extra hype. Alex Pereira's got to move up to heavyweight and try for a third belt at the White House in 2026. Him versus Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira at the White House, June 2026, International Fight Week. Third belt for Alex Pereira on the line. Potential GOAT status for Alex Pereira on the line as well. Tom Aspinall gets the super fight. This is the fight of the modern era of combat sports. Alex,
again around your waist, but before we even talk about the fight, you're walking in a booth. We noticed that you were adjusting your foot inside the octagon. What really is going on there? And was this something before the fight, or did it happen in the fight?
Yeah, I think this time it broke for sure. It started turning purple super quickly, but you know, when I was throwing those low kicks, I saw that they were landing. You know, he changed his stances after the third kick, which is something that he didn't do in the last fight. It's something that I saw Jan Blachowicz did to him in the fight too, but as soon as I landed the first kick to his lead leg, I felt my foot.
And you were aggressive really from the first moment on. Was the approach to go right at him, or was that something that you saw leading up to you in the fight?
That was the plan in the first fight. You know, I wanted to go up and be aggressive. I told everyone I wasn't feeling well. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But you know, I felt it that it was going to happen. You know, even this morning we went to breakfast at Bagel Mania, and we saw one of the guys from Power Slap who we saw last time on fight day as well. He had just lost that night, and today he was there and he just won. So I thought to myself, man, you know, last time he had lost, I lost, now he won, so everything is coming together.
You're gonna have. Do things feel different? You've won the title before. You've been the champion in 2 divisions. Is something else happening here?
To make all those around me happy, you know, all my fans. I feel all the love at the press conference. The fans won't even let my opponent talk. So I feel that, and I want to give people joy. And even in Brazil, sometimes people say, "Oh, I wasn't watching the UFC anymore until you came," and stuff. So I feel it, and I want to give back to those people.
Well, you're certainly doing that, Alex. Now comes the part of my job that I have to do. That's always difficult because you just won the title once again, and we're already asking you about your next fight. But I talked to Carlos Olberg and I talked to Yuri Prochazka after your fight. They both believe they're next in line. They both have their reasonings for it. If you get to play matchmaker as the champion, when do you fight, and who is your opponent?
You know, like I said up there, I had a whole speech prepared, but we all know what happened to Jon Jones' brother. So it's not even right to talk about that, and we'll talk about that later.
Tom admitted he didn't expect Pereira to win that fight, but what he pulled off was absolutely incredible. Coming from someone like Tom Aspinall, who rarely gives praise, that speaks volumes. He described Pereira as an exciting, fearless, and dangerous competitor. The kind who keeps the sport unpredictable. However, things got interesting when Tom was asked the question on everyone's mind. Would he ever face Pereira if the Brazilian moves up to heavyweight?
Ever since he came to this sport, there was a lot of hype, and he lived up to that in so many ways. He became the middleweight champion, now the light heavyweight champion, not once, but twice, and he just got revenge over Magomed Ankalaev in 1 minute, 20 seconds. Gone in 80 seconds, okay? But it's the way that he did it that was so impressive. He said that he was 40% last time. I'll be honest, I kind of scoffed at that because fighters are never 100%. I mean, for crying out loud, I fought the back end of my career with one eye and a ton of other injuries, okay? Fighters are never 100%, so it did sound like some excuses were being made. However, he clearly was burnt out. He clearly wasn't the best version of himself. Or maybe he just had a fantastic performance, okay? Right? Regardless, he smokes Magomed Ankalaev. So the question is, what's next. Now, of course, he wants to go to heavyweight. Dana White said that he saw him at the Performance Institute on Friday. He told Dana face to face he wants to go to heavyweight, and you would assume that by going to heavyweight, he would mean wanting the winner of Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall, which goes down in just a couple of weeks. But that's not what he wants. He wants to take on Jon Jones at the White House, the greatest of all time, depending on who you ask, of course. We're not getting into that whole debate, but that's what Pereira wants. Now, I will say this, the man should be afforded some wild opportunities. What he did, the way he came back, the way he thrills audiences, the knockouts that he's had, the career that he's had, the impact that he's made on this sport, and the fan base that will once again be behind him is immense, okay? So I say give the man some fun fights. Yes, of course, there is Carlos Ulberg out there, and there is Yuri Prohaska. Yuri, I could not be a bigger fan of that guy. I love that guy, but he's been beaten by Alex twice. I hate to say it, I don't think the outcome would be much different. Carlos Ulberg, yeah, sure. Make him fight Carlos Ulberg, probably beat Carlos Ulberg, because it'll be a kickboxing match. Ulberg's not going to shoot a double leg takedown. He's not all of a sudden going to turn into a Dagestani wrestler that he just beat, by the way, 1 minute, 20 seconds. He would probably beat Carlos Ulberg as well. So what do you do with him? Well, you give him something fun, okay? There is Jon Jones at the White House. However, Dana's already said he's not going to put Jon Jones on at the White House because he needs people that he can trust. And of course, it's looking like Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler is going to be the main event. McGregor's out there talking about it, announcing it, going on Fox Sports, saying that he's negotiating directly with the White House.
It ain't a negotiation. Wow. It's a done deal, signed, delivered.
So, of course, Dana White refuted that last night. He said, we're not even talking about contracts or anything like that.
We're still talking about the production and how everything's going to work at the White House. We have not started negotiating any fights.
Although I do expect McGregor to be on there versus Michael Chandler, which is crazy because we never thought that fight was going to happen. Jones versus Pereira, okay? I mean, that's a huge fight. That's a big fight that a lot of people would want to see. But what would you rather see? But the fight that I would rather see is Alex Pereira going up against Tom Aspinall or Cyril Gane. More than likely, Tom Aspinall.
Suddenly, Aspinall fell silent, very silent. His response was calm and measured, as if he was holding back. That quiet moment alone has the MMA world buzzing. Does it mean Aspinall is secretly concerned about Pereira's power at heavyweight? Or is it simply his usual respect for a fellow elite fighter?
Aspinall Pereira, this is the build-up. This is the picture coming to life. The prophecy has been fulfilled. And once he does, fingers crossed, we need Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira for the undisputed heavyweight world championship live on pay-per-view at the White House in June 2026. Pereira gets a chance at 3 belts. Never done before. I know Dana's out here yapping about that. He doesn't want it to happen. He needs to get his fat bald head out of the fucking... Go promote boxing again. We don't need you. UFC fan page edits getting me more hyped than anything the UFC puts out there in terms of promotion. We don't need you, you bald fuck. Get lost about he doesn't want to see Alex at heavyweight. Shut up. This is the biggest fight of the era. You need a White House main event, and this is it. Be there for the fight of the era. If Aspinall gets past Gane, especially, Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall is the matchup to make. And then we're talking. And now we're talking. That is the fight of the era. And I really badly want to see it. And I'm looking forward to it if it does happen. Tom, no pressure, buddy. It's all on you again. But you know what? We know Tom thrives under pressure, so I like it. I like that it's all on the line. I like that there's some super fight on the line that he didn't get with Jon Jones running away. And you know what I'm going to say as well? Untimely, because of what's just happened to him, Alex Pereira calls for a minute of silence for Arthur Jones, rest in peace, but this is about Jon Jones. Alex Pereira is the light heavyweight GOAT of the UFC. I'm saying it as it is. I know there's DC that exists, but when it comes to light heavyweight things that he's done, Pereira's the light heavyweight GOAT. We don't need to count PED cheats in our GOAT list. All we would have to remove is Jon Jones and Anderson Silva, and we would have a completely perceivably natural GOAT list in our sport. We don't need to include these cheats. We really don't. Pereira has shown dominance, and when he's on form, he's unbeatable. One loss to Ankalaev at light heavyweight, but he's put in work. How good is Jan Blachowicz in hindsight? Jan Blachowicz You know, Yuri Praska twice. Jamal Hill, not the greatest to win, but the way he does it, easy. Dispatch of it. Jones took OSP to a decision. Yeah, I mean, that was his easy one. Pereira dispatches him in the first round. Then he goes out there, loses to Ankalaev, it's tough, but beats Khalil, who's a great fighter. We saw that in the Yuri fight, had a great first 2 rounds. Beats Khalil, finishes him, steps up short notice, saves an event. Gets the close loss to Ankalaev. He's been so active, he's been injured, all of this. People must have known that he really wasn't the same. Then he comes back and does this to Ankalaev.
Keep in mind, this isn't the first time Tom's been asked about Pereira. Previously, he said he doesn't want to rush or push Alex into moving up, and that he respects his place at light heavyweight.
See Jon Jones versus Alex. Yeah. Possibility. I mean, Rogan is pushing me right now to try to make that fight. It's just, guys, Jon Jones is a whole nother. I consider Jon Jones the greatest combat fighter of all time. Jon Jones is the nastiest dude ever in the history. And Jon's got a dark side to him, man. He shoots guns. Jon Jones is a killer.
Essa é a melhor aposta?
Não, eu queria super luta.
No, I want a super fight.
Oh, super fight at heavyweight.
I could think of one.
Wow,
thing,
Derek
probably.
Lewis? It's Aspinall, man.
Oh, this is pô, Casa Branca, Jon Jones.
Jon Jones.
Super luta.
At the White House, Jon Jones. That's
okay.
a super fight.
All right, so he.
Why not fight against Pereira, a guy who's the same age as you, and we walk around the same exact size? Pereira walks around at like 240, and he has magnificent accolades. Business-wise, it makes more sense. Fight the nobody that may be more dangerous, or fight the guy with all the accolades.
This organization at this point.
Yeah, you know, people love him. People love the way he fights, and can't be bummed out with the way he performed this evening, so.
You seemed to tease that maybe he was going to call for a Jon Jones fight, but then kind of pulled it back after learning about Arthur. Is him going to heavyweight something you would entertain at this point?
So today I was at work and I had a bunch of meetings over there this afternoon, and I went over to the PI and he was over in the PI. And I'm like, well, you're the last guy I expected to see here today. What are you doing here? And they're telling me we want to fight a heavyweight. I said, how about we win tonight and focus on tonight, and then we could talk about, you know, heavyweight. And I don't know. There's still fights here in this division, but we'll see. I mean, this guy has been an absolute stud for us. He's on vacation in Australia, flies over and fights because, you know, somebody fell out. He fights when he's hurt. He doesn't care. He wants to fight everybody. He wants to move up to heavyweight.
Let's be real. A showdown between Tom Aspinall and Alex Pereira would be huge. A dream fight for fans. Picture this. Pereira, one of the most skilled strikers in the world, stepping up to heavyweight to take on the fastest and most complete big man in UFC history. Pereira's pinpoint accuracy and devastating power matched against Aspinall's speed, grappling, and sharp fight IQ.
Hi, Alex Pereira, UFC 300.
If he wants to, I will. But going on record and saying, I'm not a bully. I don't bully smaller guys. But if the smaller guy wants to scrap, can't be him.
Breaking down this fight, UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall was saying that he thought you've gotten favorable matchups until you ran into Ankalaev, and the result kind of proved he was a bad matchup for you. I'm just curious if you think that is fair or an unfair analysis, and just your response.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about the biggest organization in the world. I'm a guy who comes from kickboxing. I had no grappling experience, little experience in MMA, and we're talking about the highest level of the sport. So if you were to put the worst guy in the UFC against me, I would be at a disadvantage. So that makes no sense.
We obviously fought on the same card, me and him. Never met him before, never. He was quite frosty when I met him. Definitely not a happy chappy, do you know what I mean? I spent a bit of time together. Obviously, there's a language barrier and stuff. He doesn't really speak English that I'm aware of, at least. We did the press conference. We sat next to each other. He was literally, I was here, he was there. Got off the press conference. And my dad said, oh, how was it? I said, do you know Alex Pereira? He said, yeah. I said, he thinks he can beat me, you know. And my dad was like, what do you mean? I don't know, I can just tell. He wasn't posturing, he wasn't like trying to intimidate me or nothing. I just felt like he had in his mind, maybe I'm just making it up, I have no idea, but I've never done it with anyone before. And I'm not like that insecure guy being like, he's trying to fight me. I'm not like that at all. When I heard that he wants to move up to heavyweight, I wasn't surprised. I felt like he was like sizing me up a little bit. Saying that, mate, we were 2-3 days away from a fight. Maybe that's just the way.
Aspinall and Cyril Gane, like who do you think you will win? Is the winner something that interests you?
Cara, ali é uma luta assim difícil. né? Mas, pô, o Aspinall, campeão, vem mais confiante. Mas, assim, eu vejo que ele lutou com atletas também, assim, muito agressivo, entendeu? E ele tá levando a melhor ali, mas acho que o Ciryl Gane, ele é um cara assim mais, que movimenta mais. É um cara que não gosta de se expor, entendeu? Um pouco ali de medo e tal. Então, quando você tem um certo medo, um receio, você acaba não tomando muitos golpes. Então, pô, a gente vai ver. Vamos ver, porque de repente ele pode frustrar um pouco, né? O Tom Aspinall ali, de passa ali primeiro, segundo, terceiro round, vai levando pro final. A gente não sabe como que ele vai se comportar também.
It's a tough fight, you know. Tom is a complete fighter, but I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys, and I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and you know, just moving around a lot. It might frustrate Tom, you know. So first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Ciryl Gane. So I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see.
Você acha que a sua carreira vai terminar semi-completo ou completo?
Bom, de verdade não dá para responder isso, né? Eu gostaria, né, de futuramente, né, porque meu peso vai subindo, né, então não sei quanto tempo eu consigo fazer isso, 38 anos, não sei. Vou fazendo do jeito que eu tô fazendo, dando um passo de cada vez e a gente vai vendo o que acontece.
Would you like to finish your career at light heavyweight or heavyweight? I really don't know. We'll have to see. You know, obviously my body gets heavier. I don't know how long I can cut to 205. So we're just going to have to see it and take it fight by fight.
This fight could shake up the sport. Pereira has already called out Jon Jones for a huge White House event. And with Jones back in camp, a heavyweight move seems likely. If that happens, Tom Aspinall will be waiting. Dana White says Pereira's star power can't be ignored. Whether it's Jones or Aspinall, these matchups could make history. Tom's calm respect hides a hint of concern. Everyone's asking, if Pereira moves up, who can stop him?